Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another podcast interview where we talk about all things create yourself. Create yourself imagery, intimacy, innovation, a place where people from all walks of life and various backgrounds come to share their transformative personal and professional stories of restoration, clarity, confidence, empowerment, resiliency. I'm Joyce Kyles, your global speaker, teacher, trainer, author, and coach. And if you are ready to transition, transform, and thrive, this is the podcast for you. I am so excited to have my guest for today. So, if this is your first time joining us, welcome. If you have been listening and following us for a while, welcome back. We're always glad to have you. Continue to spread the word about Create Yourself with the circles of responsibility for you. My guest today is a strategic relationship consultant, and I had the opportunity to meet him a few months ago. Saw something online, I think it was might have been LinkedIn, that he was sharing about some of the work that he was doing, and of course, I got into the DMs, as the young people say, and we had a conversation which led to another conversation about our collective work. Saw a lot of energy and synergy between the two of us, and we just hit it off. So, this show is very open, it's very transparent. We have a lot of fun here. We talk about our experiences, share our create yourself moments, and yeah, this is why I have my special guest on today, because he is a Renaissance man, no doubt. As young as he is wise beyond his years. So I present to some and introduce to others none other than Mr. James Shannon. James, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Glad to be here. Thank you for the compliment, and I hope that I can live up to it on this episode.
Oh, you absolutely do. You absolutely do. And once the interview is over, people will have an opportunity to connect with you further and know why it is that I was so excited to have you on. So let's just jump right on into it. I would love for you to share with our listening audience a bit about yourself and share your creative journey. How did you get started on the path that you're on in the work that you do?
Yes, so as mentioned, my name is James. I am a strategic relationship consultant, and that is a name and a title that I kind of created for myself after looking at everything that I do, everything I have done, and what I want to do in the future, right? So it's kind of the past, present, and future label for myself. And so, as the name kind of suggests, strategic relationship consultant, using strategy to help businesses and professionals build relationships and consulting them in those endeavors. So that looks like helping them figure out their relationship strategy. So for their business, what type of relationships do they need? When do they need them? What is the value? How do they need to structure them? What is the maintenance or risk aspects that come along with certain relationships? And so the consultancy comes in from just one, giving insights and consulting them on the strategy, but then I also have the ability to help them execute that plan or the actions that they need, either for themselves, so helping them do it themselves, or I can step in and use my expertise, my relationships network, all of those things to help them with their relationship building, to grow their business, get more visibility, revenue, all those different things. And my tagline, I guess, is that I help people get connected, or I give access to the right people, places, and opportunities business owners need to grow their business.
And you do. You absolutely do. And you do it well. And that's why I said, from my perspective, you are a young man who is truly wise beyond your years. And I love that you frame the work that you do in past, present, and future, because that's a lot of what this Create Yourself podcast is about. It's about helping individuals to use the tools and resources that they already have or they've acquired over the years. What does that look like in their present, and how can they thrive in the future? And that's work as well as play, so personally and professionally. So with that, I'd like to ask you, how did you even start on this path that you're on now with creating this consulting that you do? How did you start?
So it started many years ago, right? Even though I'm not that old, it was many years ago. And Previously to the work that I do now, I was in, well, my first career was in the hospitality and food and beverage industry, right? So I went to culinary school for a year, learned about baking and everything like that, and opened up my own baking business. And so the strategy that I was using to grow my baking business, I started it out of my house. And so I started, this was back in Florida. I'm originally from Florida, moved to Atlanta 5 years ago, this upcoming year, actually. And so from my experience in the baking industry, how I grew my company was through corporate events. So a lot of like networking events, galas, holiday parties, corporate birthday parties, when, if you're in an office and they, once a month celebrate everybody's birthdays and that type of thing, right? And so my mindset was, if I can get the corporate business, then I can get the personal business, right? And as we all know, corporate typically pays better. So I went straight for the money right off the bat anyway. And from that, what I was offering through my baked goods and everything was, in a way, community and in relationship building, right? So for my products, it was usually for like a birthday party, an anniversary, a celebration of some sort, a baby shower, right? And so that's where I understood and really got the value of what relationships are, and how intentional relationships are very important. So COVID happened, closed the business, all of that. And so I had to pivot into something else, which was residential commercial property management, right? So managing apartment communities down in Florida. And then I moved to Atlanta and was doing that as well. And so through my property management experience, I moved around to a lot of different properties, different parts of the city, met a lot of different types of people and backgrounds, right? So I got really diverse in the audiences that I was serving, and who I was helping and how I was communicating with them through real estate. While I was doing real estate, I also started a consulting company focused on helping property owners manage their assets correctly. So basically taking what the larger companies do and how they manage their portfolios and their assets, and giving the tools and knowledge and frameworks to smaller investors so they can grow and scale their business. They can leverage their properties to grow. They can properly make sure that they're getting the right compliance standards and revenue and all that stuff, right? And in that journey, I came across a guy, and he gave me this advice when it came to real estate. He said, in real estate, there's 4 pieces to a deal. If you can provide any 4 of these to a deal, you will always be able to make money. The first one is time. If you have time to contribute to the deal. The second one is experience. If you have experience putting together deals, or your background or whatnot is relatable to what you're looking to do, you can provide the experience. The third one is money, right? So if you got money, you can always, make the deal happen. But the fourth one was relationships, right? And so I was 23, 24, something like that at the time. And I was looking at my experiences and my background and everything. And I was like, well, I don't have the money. That's for sure. The money's not there. So that's out. Then it was my experiences. I didn't really have the experience on structuring deals because I didn't, have that exposure, and I was looking to get into the industry, right? So that was out. I had the time, because 24 didn't, have much going on or whatnot, just working and living life. So I had some extra time. But really the one that I decided to go all in on was relationships, right? Because I was like, if I control the relationships, then I can control the people who have the experience, the time, and the money, right? And so from that journey of, all right, I'm going to go all in on relationships, that was my bet in real estate, turned into going to a lot of networking events, and meeting a bunch of different people, right? And then from going to networking events and other gatherings, I went from an attendee to a influencer in the space to an organizer to now doing my own events and relationship building opportunities and expertise, right? So I've stepped in and I've been every level from going to an event and knowing anybody and feeling uncomfortable and not really sure how to introduce myself and what to say to now running events with very influential people, business owners, government officials, politicians, creatives, nonprofits, any and everybody. I say I either have access to or I have a relationship with them, or I know people who do have the relationships with them. So I've had to figure out how to create myself in each of these levels, each of these iterations, to be where I'm at now, and now being able to help other people do the same and offer my services.
James, this is why I said you are truly wise beyond your years. And look, and because I didn't know all these moving pieces and parts of your past to get you to this point, I'm just fascinated that you started in baking.
Right.
Like, I love it. I love it because to know you and to have conversations with you, to know that you went from baking to real estate and doing what you do now. I often talk about how we take our experiences and what we've learned from those things and we build on it, right? So it sounds like
Absolutely.
that's what you have been doing and creating this, as you call yourself, the strategic, I'm saying it right because I wrote it down, strategic relationship consultant. I love that you created a name that is unique to who you are and what you do and what you provide. Those who are listening, either, like I said, first time, you've been here a million times, you know that I'm really big on us talking about how we take what we've learned and how to do it and process it at any age. In fact, that's how I end the show, is by, reminding people that you can be successful, you can thrive at any age. And so you're proving that and taking those skills of what you do. I guess for me, I just love to know, what do you find most gratifying about what you're doing? And then maybe some challenges that you have come across since starting to do this work in this consulting space.
Absolutely. Yeah. Circling back real quick, regarding like the previous experiences, right? Like, I didn't realize how much this is true to where like you don't see the dots connecting until you start looking back, right? And it was
Right,
like,
right,
oh, this client when I was baking actually helped me figure out how to talk to or do business with this style of person. This resident, taught me how to interact with this, thing, or how to build the emotional skin, the thick skin and everything to just let stuff roll off the back, be object focused, or all the
yes,
soft and hard skills that come along with it, right?
right.
And so now all of those things, like a lot of it, the relationship management really got refined in the real estate industry, right? Because you're dealing with so many different stakeholders depending on the type of deal or what you're looking to do. So,
Mhm.
I mean, anything from a tenant to a vendor to a government official that's doing inspections to, your lender or your insurance agent and all these different people, right? Who have different personalities, different interests in what you're doing and want to see different things, right? And
Mhm.
so for me, when I've learned how to like navigate the relationships, hear what people are really saying, not always what they're, just saying is also an important skill. But the thing that I really enjoy the most, I would say, is I really love when when a deal or an opportunity comes together, right? This was something I also love, like when I was baking, is like seeing the reaction of the work, right? So when I would bake, the reaction of somebody biting into the cake or the cookie or bread or brownie and just being like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is the best thing ever. Like, it's perfect. I live for that feeling. And now I get to see it, through relationships. So it's talking to people and being like, oh, I had this issue and I had this problem, and James is able to know somebody that can fix it for me. Or, oh, I'm looking to get in access to this X, Y, and Z room or this person. James already knows them. I'm able to just make that introduction, and business is able to happen. Is able. See, what really got me and why I started making this like a real career is I realized how many people were making money off of my connections and the introductions I was doing. And I was like, I need to jump into this. Y'all making money, but I need to make some money too. Just, just a little bit to, share the love. Right. And so
That's right.
I'm like, all right, cool. James needs a piece. So, and for me, also what I recognized is just the way that my mind works is when I'm talking to people, I'm always thinking, okay, what do they need? What are they saying? Who do I know? How can we connect them? What's the roadblocks? All those different things. So when I'm meeting somebody and it's like, oh, you need this. I met somebody X, Y, and Z, time ago. They can be able to help you, and just that ability to be of service is super important to me. But then also like the aha moments, when people get connected and they're like, okay, cool, now we can execute, now we can work, and make things happen. For me, that's the best part of it, and being able to solve a need really. And I say the more hands you shake, the more money you make. And we all know, your network is your net worth, all those kind of cliches, but they're actually very important because that's how real business gets done, and it goes from there. The parts that are a struggle that I don't always like or enjoy is sometimes the handling of the relationships, right? So we've all met like the people, if we go out networking or whatnot, the people that just constantly spray their business cards out, right? Or they're like, oh, we need to do something real quick. Like you can
Yes,
smell and feel like how desperate it kind of comes off that they are.
absolutely. Hmm.
And it's
Hmm.
like, yeah, I can't really trust you because like you're too, like you could be ambitious and you can be ready, but if you're being too much, it's like something. It just doesn't,
The
pass.
aggressiveness is a turnoff, sure.
Exactly. And so there's that side of it, and then I also don't like people who don't follow up. Right
Hmm.
now,
Hmm.
for me, I'm relationship driven. I deal with a lot of different people, so sometimes it takes me a minute to follow up, but I always at least communicate that. Hey, I know we talked about X, Y, and Z. I'm going to get to you by X, Y, and Z date, right?
Right,
Always
right.
making sure communication is better than no communication. And so when you are making the interaction, you have a business deal that needs to be done, or there's growth that you want to have, but if you're not communicating or representing your business in the best light possible, it doesn't matter how many great relationships you have, how many opportunities that come your way, you're not going to be able to fully execute and take advantage of them to the level that you need to grow your business. So I would kind of say those are definitely the highlights, and then some of the struggles that I face with my work.
No, and that those are real on both ends. As you were talking about the things that you enjoy the most, I was immediately just getting excited thinking about, yeah, when because I'm a speaker by profession, and when you have that crowd engagement, for me it's about the engagement. It's someone who comes back and tells me, I gained X, Y, and Z from what you shared. As a coach and a consultant in my space, when someone comes back and says, I made X, Y, and Z decision based on the conversation that we have, it's like you've poured into that person and they've gotten some tangible results. And for those that know me really well, they know I love food. I am a foodie person, especially the sweets, the bakery, all the things. So, look, you had me at bakery. So it's like you baking, then
Right.
I need to talk to you offline. I know you say you're not doing that anymore, but I know that you have not lost your touch. So we'll have to talk about that part.
I'm not, it's still there every once in a while.
All
I pull it
right.
out for special occasions.
All right. So, I'm going to create a special occasion for that point. So I love that. I think it's important when we do get that feedback from people, right? And that is a
Absolutely.
gratifying thing. By the same token, though, I too am turned off by aggressive people. It's one thing to be ambitious and wanting to work the room and talk and have those conversations, but it's quite another when that individual is so aggressive that we must meet. I need to know something about you. You need to actually
Right.
know something about me too. You may find
Well,
that you're and realize this is not a good fit.
well, even there's bare minimum things, right, that need to be like executed, right? So like if you're first meeting somebody, who you are, what you do, if you have an intent, like what that intent is, and how you see that shaping up, right? Because if I'm like, hey Joyce, we need to book a time on my calendar, I got something for you. Okay, 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 like no, we need to book it right now, I'll tell you on the call. Okay, well, what is it? No, don't worry about it, just give me 15 minutes. It's like, okay, now you're not like giving it too much, or whatnot. Or if it's like, hey Joyce, I actually know an organization that would really need your services, or would be an opportunity for you to speak. Let's get on this 15-minute call. Like it's super important because they're looking to make a decision within the next couple of days. That is completely different than the, hey, let's just book a call.
Mhm.
Let's just book a let's just do X, Y, and Z. If
Right.
you notice, it was what the opportunity was, how you benefited, the urgency of the time, and then the availability, right? All of those things were communicated. So now you know, all right, he's ambitious. There's a time urgency. I'm part of this. I know what I'm getting out of this interaction. And clearly, if James or whoever knows this opportunity, there's some type of value or information that he has access to that I don't. So you would be more inclined to listen to that opportunity or to take that opportunity. It's really mostly, and it's once again cliche, but so important, is it's not what you say, it's about how you say it.
Right, right. And that was the one thing I was getting ready to segment into as we start to wind down our conversation, was talking about being strategic in the relationship building, because that is something that you truly have perfected. For those who are looking to maybe go into consultancy, or they already have a business, and that's one of the places that they fall flat, is
Mhm.
not just gaining relationship opportunities, but maintaining them so that those doors can open for them and move into whatever the objective may be. It's whether it's like in my case, I'm looking for opportunities for speaking, or hosting workshops. For someone else, it may be a different avenue, I'm a welder or what have you. You are very well connected with a lot of people in a lot of different spaces. So my question then to you would be, what are some tips, some tools, resources, things that people should consider when wanting to build better relationships in their business?
Yeah, so the first thing I can recommend is book a consultation with me.
Yes.
That would be the first. That'd be the first one. But the main one, or the main couple ones that I can talk about primarily, is knowing what your objective is, right?
Mhm.
Like that's fundamental. Whether your objective is to find clients, find partners, build a referral network, get whatever that object. Sometimes it could just be, hey, I just want to be around like-minded individuals that kind of understand what I'm going through. Like I don't need more clients, I don't need more to grow the business, whatever. I just want to be around like-minded individuals. Or sometimes it's I want to take my skill set and contribute and give back, to an audience
Right.
or to a segment, or whatever that looks like. So firstly, it's get super clear on what your objective is, and don't judge your objective, if that makes sense. A lot of
Mm,
people
that's good.
tend to judge their objective, where it's like, no, I just want a casual, professional relationship. It doesn't really matter if it turns into business or not. I just want to be around like-minded individuals. I think
Mhm.
there's a big pressure that a lot of people have when it comes to relationships, that this has to be monetary or ROI driven or whatnot. And for me, there's different types of currency and there's different types of value that comes from a relationship. It could be financial, it could be emotional, it could be spiritual, it could be intellectual. There's all different values. Not everything needs to be strictly money or numbers based, right? Sometimes it's nice to know that you can call up a relationship and be like, they're in the same boat as you and be like, hey, I'm absolutely going crazy. I haven't made any sales, or I've got this client, or I got X, Y, and Z. I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, I just need to vent. Or, hey, I need some insight. Like, how have you done this before, right? That is value, and that is an aspect of a relationship. And a lot of people, when it comes to business or professional relationships, they just see it as monetary. So that's the first kind of section, is understanding your objective and don't judge yourself for the types of relationships that you're actually looking for. Because if you do anything less than what is genuinely what you're looking for, it's not going to be fulfilling. It's not going to be genuine. It's going to be inauthentic. People are going to feel it. You're going to get frustrated, and it's going to be misaligned. And then you're going to be burnt out and say or feel that relationships don't work. And that's not the case. The second part is be a source of value for people, right? Once again, value can be multiple things. Value can be opportunistic, so that you provide an opportunity for people. Value can be intellectual. There's some form of information or insights or something that would be valid for that person. It could also be emotional safety, right? Like, we understand business
That's
is
good.
very hard. There's a lot of challenges, but being a person that someone can confide in or listen to, or share their thoughts, is extremely valuable, especially in the way that the world is navigating right now. And then you could also just be a person that just connects people, right? So you may not have anything to do with, or any interest or any relation to what this person does or their industry or anything like that, but you can always ask, so who are you looking to connect with? If I come across somebody, who would be a good referral for you? If, like, what things are you passionate about right now that a relationship may help you out with, right? Now you have that data and information, and then you can back end it and figure out who you know that meets those criteria or who you come across, right? So, understand your objective, don't judge yourself, be a person of value, and then master the follow up, right? Follow up is something that, for me, I'm working on constantly and always improving, because there's always an opportunity to engage with somebody, to be on top of mind. And a lot of people think follow up is, hey, let's talk about doing business, or let's just, have an unstructured conversation for 30 minutes, right? Or whatever that looks like, or let's get coffee. There's multiple different types of follow-ups that you can do. Some of mine that I've worked on and has been super successful is a 15-minute virtual meeting. 15 minutes is long enough that you can actually have a decent conversation. You can check in with somebody. And usually when I'm doing these 15-minute follow-ups, it's outbound, so I'm reaching out to them. I probably have one or two topics that I want to cover in this conversation. Hey, Joyce, I would love to hop on a quick 15-minute conversation with you. It's been a minute since we've caught up. I'm curious on what engagements you have coming up. I'm curious on what your goals are for 2026 now that it's started, right? Whatever that is. So there's an identifier and a purpose for the call. 15 minutes is short enough that it's not taking up somebody's whole, lunch hour if they're busy or whatever. People typically have 15 minutes, right?
Right.
And then, so that's one style of follow up. The next style would be information sharing, right? So an email, a text, a call, a DM. Hey, I saw this. I thought it was relevant to your industry. Wanted to share. It could be a flyer. It could be an event. It could be an article. It could be an opportunity. It could be another relationship, whatever that looks like. Just something real quick. You were top of mind, wanted to share this to you. The other one that also works out really well is just saying, hey, thought about you. Hope you're doing well. That people like to be thought of. People like to be considered. You can copy and paste that, if you're doing it once, 1 day a week, right? You select 20, 35 people that you send this text out or this email or whatever out to. And so even if they don't respond or they don't see it or whatever, you at least put out that attempt, right? And then when you go back, you at least have the peace of mind to say, hey, I've tried, I've attempted in this relationship, I've reached out. There's other roles and things that are at play with some of these strategies, that you can benefit from.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So those are just a couple that can be used upon, and that worked really well. I did that over the holiday season, and I reconnected with people I haven't seen or talked to in months. I had new doors and relationships opened from it because I was talking about what I'm doing now, and they're like, "Oh, well, because you reached out, I know so and so. I can make an introduction." Right? You never know how these relationships and not could happen, but it's just really being clear on your objectives and then creating a system for each of those elements of the relationship process for you.
James is awesome. This is so awesome. And we could go another 30 minutes, because I'm thinking of
Absolutely.
things as you're sharing. Like, I'm so excited. That's why I said I knew that having you on the show would be a breath of fresh air in someone who is showing up and doing the work and just so wise beyond your years. I love that you have taken relationship building and created something meaningful and tangible and profitable. And I think that's one of the great takeaways from this episode, is for people to see that we have the tools, the skills, and the resources to create opportunity for ourselves. And it can be something like relationships, because that, I think that's unique. And I don't think people think about it so much in terms of not just the business part, but also what it does for our professional growth and development as well. I love the last thing that you mentioned when it comes to just reaching out and sharing the notes and just how you're doing. What is your objective with that? Because I do that, and that's something that I'm known for. I had someone share with me last week that they were going to do something nice for me because they saw that you share and you help everybody. It's just in me to do, because I want to see people win. I want to see them successful, and I want to check in. And the objective is not always monetary for me. Sometimes I just want to know how you're doing, because, like you said, people like to be not acknowledged, and everyone doesn't necessarily want it to be, oh God, everybody reaches out to me because they want something. How nice is it if someone just reaches out to you just because I just want to know genuinely how you're doing? And that's it. That's it. So,
Be of value.
yeah, there's value
It,
there.
and it works. And you never know, like, the string of opportunities that come from the relationships that you have, right? Like, I know of at least three on the top of my mind where I'm like, a relationship of a relationship of a relationship I benefited from, right? So the first person didn't really, get anything or didn't necessarily go anywhere, but because I had an interaction with that person, it led to an interaction with another person, which led to an interaction with another person that I was actually able to do business with or get a value from or evolve or develop and whatnot. So you really never know. And then people circle back too, right? Like,
Right.
timing is a huge piece of it. We may have met, a year ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 15 years ago, but because, we connected then and we may have, stayed in contact here and there, now we're actually able to develop something and to make it happen. And the other thing is don't take, is oxymoronic in a way, but don't take relationships personal, right? There's a lot of variables and things that are outside of your control that just don't make sense, right? You don't know. Maybe they have other things on their plate. Maybe now's not the time. Maybe the opportunity changed. Maybe your skill set may be too advanced for what they're looking for, what they need. Maybe the variables changed, and you don't know these things, right? But if you just consistently show up, you can take advantage of the opportunities. You can build the relationships, and In the words of Myron Golden, I love Myron. If you don't know Myron, you need to check him out.
Okay.
Um,
Yes.
but
Love him.
the work works. The
Yes.
work. It either works for you or it works in you. So by you building these relationships, it's going to help you internally, sometimes more than it'll even help you externally. You just have to be committed to the process, and make it happen.
Yeah. That is awesome. And I think that's a good way, a great way for us to wrap up our podcast time. As you know, if you clicked on the podcast, then you see all of James's information. But I always give my guests an opportunity to share like how to connect with you and the best way, because we have a list. Sometimes people say, okay, well, what's the best way to connect with James? So floor is yours.
Absolutely. So the first couple ways, the first one is Instagram. I am James Shannon. That's SHANNON. That's the Instagram. Then there's LinkedIn as well. I'm actually transitioning currently from my Instagram platform over to LinkedIn. So you'll see a lot more content, engagements, and ways to connect with me on LinkedIn when it comes to the social media platforms. So please check me out on LinkedIn, send me a connection request. We could go from there. And then the best way is through my website, www.IamJamesShannon.com. There you can see some of my previous work, so you can know that I know what I'm talking about. If you haven't gotten that yet, or that information yet, you can see on my website. And then also you can schedule a consulting session with me to where we can talk about your relationship strategy, what the best opportunities would be for your business. And then if there's any opportunities that I come across as well that you would be interested in engaging in, we can have that conversation there. So once again, the website is www.IamJamesShannon.com. And I look forward to connecting with y'all there and helping you build strategically placed, valuable, productive, and growth focused relationships.
I love it, James. Thank you so much for being a guest on the show today. I really appreciate it because you are a busy man, but you took time to show up for us. So thank you for all the gems, the nuggets. And, I'm just going to continue to encourage the audience. Please make sure that you connect with him, schedule some time with him. He's very personable. So connect with him on LinkedIn, get to know him and his work. You will be so glad. This is a relationship you'll want to have and to build on. So thank you, James, for being our guest today.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And thank you for the opportunity.
And to my listening audience, as always, I thank you for showing up because without you, I could not do what I do. So as I always say, to go forward and enjoy your life and create the best life that you can. Remember that you can create the life that you desire and deserve, and you can do so at any age. So do not let age stop you. Let's continue to transition, transform, and thrive together. Until next time, everyone. Bye.